Well, hello everyone. I am here with Marty Pastura. Marty, we were just doing some math, has been a friend of mine for 25, 26 years, we
Yeah.
think. And we're going to have a conversation today about his career and kind of his working relationship with our team at Elevatus.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's been a great 25 years, I got to say, Tom. We started out in a working environment, obviously, and then we, did some things socially, and all these years we've been hanging out off and on together. So it's been a great opportunity to work with you and a great relationship that we've had.
I feel exactly the same. It has been really a joy, to be perfectly honest. Working relationship initially, became fast friends. I wanted to ask you a little bit before we get into architecture and design.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get into the movement, and what kept you in the movement throughout your professional career?
Yeah, I actually started working using the YMCA. I was playing college football and baseball, and I needed a place to work out. Never really was in a YMCA before then, and I started working out. And actually, a friend of mine worked at the YMCA, and he said, we need help, we need part-time staff. So I started as a part-time employee working in the fitness center, teaching people how to use the equipment. And then I realized all the things that the YMCA does. I really knew it for the fitness end of things, but then I really realized that they do a lot for the community. So after I graduated, I had an education degree, so didn't know if I wanted to teach. I thought I might be teaching and coaching, but I felt that the YMCA was a good opportunity as well. So I just pursued that, and 40 some years later, here we are. And the other thing that I think is very important, I used to say this moving around to other communities, that I get to work for the least of these, but I worked with the best in the community to be able to do that. And that was very rewarding. I have met a lot of people that really care about others and care about the community, and I think that is what really made me feel good about the work that we did all these years.
That's tremendous. That's tremendous. What year did you get to Fort Wayne, Indiana?
1997, September of 1997.
And at that time, there was a central branch, there was a southeast branch.
Yeah.
Old Fort?
Correct, in Camp Potawatomi.
Okay.
And then the Whitley County Y was just opening at that time. It was about a year old. So that was 4 branches or 5 branches at the time. And so we knew we had to go into the communities, and because people, when they moved, this is the kind of the philosophy or the theory that we had back then. We want to make sure that we do a great job in changing the dynamics of the greater Fort Wayne area. So we knew we had to be in the suburbs to have people recreate. And, when somebody moves into the community, obviously they want a good job and they want a good place to live, but what are the other things around their house or their community that they can do? And the YMCA really served that purpose all these years.
Yeah. How did you come up with the idea of doing the Parkview Y? I mean, that was kind of the first big step that you took to transform our association.
Yeah, before I got here, there was some work done on the Solomon farm. Mr. Solomon was still alive back then, and he had this vision that he wanted to leave his 200 acres to the Parks and Recreation Department. So the YMCA got involved, and Alan Grinsfelder was really the catalyst for that change. So we went out and talked to Mr. Solomon, and he decided that he would give us 13 acres of land to build a YMCA. So, and that was the fastest growing area of Fort Wayne in those days, which it still is. Yeah. And that was really a prime location for us to be able to put our first family YMCA in the association.
And once you did that successfully, I mean, then it seemed like the association was looking for another opportunity to build. And you hit on the idea of building out Southwest. Mm-hmm. And then the Jorgensen family got involved. Shout out to the Jorgensen family. They're good friends of ours. If we don't give them a shout out, we're
yeah.
going to get a phone call.
Yeah.
So we did it. And that's when we met.
Yeah.
with the Jorgensen Y project.
Yeah, so you're right. Jane Jorgensen, actually Tom Kimbrough introduced me to Jane Jorgensen. Tom was on our board at that time. He's a longtime YMCA friend and board member. And he introduced me to Jane. And that's one of the things that really was a catalyst for change as well. I asked the board members at that time, introduce me to people in the community and so we can really do good things. And so he introduced me to Jane, and the first thing we did is went to Obi Jorgensen to ask him to consider helping us renovate a small school. And so that's how the Jorgensen Y started. And then we eventually purchased the land, again with help through the Jorgensen Foundation, and purchased the land, and then he gave us a very nice gift to start a campaign, and so that's how that one started too. So I really feel that that was really a godsend for us, because we were just coming off of the Parkview YMCA's campaign, and I wasn't sure if we could raise the amount of money that we needed to raise to build that building, but we did, and it was very successful with a lot of help from Jane Jorgensen. And that really set the stage for the growth of the YMCA and serving the community, and it also helped financially too. Because we do have a model that we wanted to build YMCAs that could do well financially, and we told our funders that, and they believed in that idea, and so we did that, and as of today we are still doing that.
Yeah, it's still rolling along really well. The association is very strong, very sound financially. You mentioned something earlier about sort of great people wanting to do good things for the community, and I think about that when I think about people like Tom Kimbrough, and I think about people like the Jorgensen family, Jane Jorgensen. When we worked on the Y, it was a really fun process. It wasn't anything about honoring their family. It was more about, we want as many children to use this facility. We want people to feel comfortable here. I remember going on all those tours and all those site visits, how fun that all was.
Yeah.
They were really vested in that project.
Oh yeah, we had a great group of people that really cared about the community. I think that's what really makes a difference. They're thinking beyond themselves, obviously, and they're thinking about how can we make the greater Fort Wayne community that much better. And so when you have volunteers and staff thinking that way and being passionate about what we're doing and being persistent and trying to get that done, it all works together. So I have a quote now that I use in my consulting business, that passionate people can make the impossible happen. And I really believe that, because when you start on a campaign, you don't know if you're going to raise all the money you need and do the things that you need to do, but it always comes together. And when you're fundraising and trying to get things done in the community, the staff, in my position being the staff person, I really needed the volunteers to be passionate about what the YMCA could do. Well, and I think that passion rubs off, from the volunteers through you to the entire staff of the Y. Everyone seems focused, they seem involved, they seem engaged. I think that just spreads and it gains momentum. Yeah, it's been a very good career. I think back on my time at the YMCA, and I'm not sure how we got it all done, but we did. And it really takes good people, whether you're the architect doing the building, it's good to have great partners, but it's good to have the volunteers to help you get all that done. Well, and we went from Jorgensen, you and I, to the Jackson R. Lehman YMCA, and that was really a fun process as well. By then we had worked together for a long time. We sort of knew the vocabulary, knew what we wanted to get done. We had Glenn involved and some other people that we really trusted, and that just seemed to take shape and move forward fairly quickly once the fundraising was in place. Well, I think about, working with you several times, and, the thing that I really appreciate about you is you're a good listener, and you really cared about what we thought about, what we were going to build and how we were going to build it. And sometimes if you can't raise all the money, you got to cut back on things. And you were very gracious in understanding things. We didn't cut back too many things, but you always have bigger hopes than you can actually do. So, as far as working with you, you were very flexible and really gave some different alternatives. And the other thing that I think is very important working with you and having an architect that really understands your business, I didn't have to describe to you every time what we want to do or what we need to do. And I have ways of thinking it should get done, and you do too, and we were very compatible working together, trying to get it all done, and we always found other solutions if we did have to change. So I think that's a great thing that when you're working with somebody who understands what you want, it's a positive environment and a positive experience.
Well, I think one of the things we try to do, and I've tried to do it personally, and I think our team tries to do it throughout the office, is realize the people they're working with are people.
Yeah.
It's not a client, it's an individual, and that individual has passion, they have pressures on them, they have things they have to achieve, and you have to align what you're doing with what they're trying to get done. And once you do that, everything seems to come together quite a bit better.
Yeah, that's a very great point. And the other thing that's very important is you have to, I learned this over time, that you have to have great partners on the job, whether it's the architect or the contractor. And you got to make sure they're hiring the right people to get the job done. But it's also very important that the YMCA, or in my position, we follow through, and it's a great working relationship. So hitting deadlines and making sure that we're really thinking through all the aspects of building a building, that is all very important.
Well, and now you've retired from the YMCA after an incredibly successful career. You put the association on the right path, and you're out consulting, doing feasibility analysis for nonprofits all over the state. How do you keep yourself from becoming the leader in those organizations? How do you keep yourself from grabbing the reins and trying to move forward in the way that you would do it if you were the CEO?
I think about that all the time, because I was actually the CEO of the YMCA I was before I came here. So since 1990, I've been the leader of the YMCA. So it was really difficult. And just because, as the leader, you feel like you want to take charge. But I've taken a step back and understand what my role is. So it took me a little while to figure that one out. But now I feel that in working as a consultant, I just want to give good advice, and I know the pitfalls, I know the positive aspects of things. So, I just want to give other organizations, not only YMCAs, I'm working with a lot of nonprofits, and I want to just give them the experience that I had and firsthand knowledge about what works and what doesn't work. So, I think I wasn't sure if I was a good consultant from the beginning, but I think I'm pretty decent now, and I know where my place is too.
I think you're doing great, and it's been rewarding for me as your friend. I remember when you started your consulting business, you're like, well, I hope somebody hires me. And then within a year, everyone had hired you. And I think it's a testament to not only the knowledge you bring to the table, but the way you go about things, and really your passion for helping people in a community. And people see through that, they respond to it, and everyone wants that on their team. So it's been really cool to watch. I do enjoy needling you about not getting involved in a leadership role at these places, but I just enjoy needling you.
I know, and that's one good thing about our relationship. It's fun to banter back and forth, especially, if we're on the golf course and either you hit a bad shot or I hit a bad shot. And if I'm playing against you, I really don't want to give you any credit about anything. So, and then if I lose $2 from you, that could be like $200,000. I know.
That is the best.
And if you lose, it's the worst $2 that you ever lost. So, but that's the fun about working with somebody that you really care about and you like.